All right. Sorry for the late start. My my need for dope content. Um, I don't know. Might have been more than All right. Let's try this again. Um, I had to do some other stuff, man. It's like 2 times the system crashed, which is not cool. Um, Let me kill everything. All right, so I don't know what's going on. Sorry, I'm super late now. It's usually where I'll be ending, but uh, I like to do intro videos and all that stuff. And this one, I felt like it was pretty decent. Actually, I felt like it was really good. Um, just too big, like the system couldn't handle it or whatever. So I had to come on here with no lead in, which haven't happened in a while. But uh, so far we're good. So let's just see what happens. Um, I got it working in the background. I'm gonna see if I can find a workaround and at least have it for an outro or something. So, but yeah, I just want to dive right into it since I'm late. Um, Today is day 2, October 7th of early voting here in Ohio. I, like promised, did go vote yesterday. Stood in line. I got there kind of early. I got there about 7:30. Walked out about 7:40. 7:40. I'm sorry. Got there at 7:30. Walked out about 8:40. Um, so outside roughly about an hour or whatever. 30 minutes before the polls open. But once they open, they were working, getting people through. The lines were actually moving pretty decent. So it just all depends on how early you get there. Um, you know, which would depend on the earlier you get there, the less you got to wait in line uh, to get inside. But other than that, everything went pretty smooth. I haven't heard of any outbreaks or anything weird happening. In these last couple of days, which is great. Um, you come in, of course, they take your temperatures. Um, everything is kind of like walled off with plastic. The floors are clearly marked. Um, they kind of give you a pen when you first get in there, and that's your pen that you leave with. Like, you're not putting it back and having it for a different person. None of that stuff. So um, it's pretty it's pretty good. It's a pretty good safe system for the most part. I won't complain about it at all. So if you're interested in all of that good stuff, kind of how what we've been talking about the past for months now. Definitely go and vote early. They did say, I think at the time I left, it had been about you know I want to say 1,200 people would like to count by about 2 o'clock. So you still got another 3 hours worth of time that I've been counting. I don't know because clearly I wasn't I wasn't there all of that time. But the fact that so many people came out, saying so early on the first day, they said they hadn't seen these numbers since like 2008 presidential election, which we all know that was Barack Obama time or whatever. So Uh, yeah, man. So I'm excited. I'm excited about the turnout. That's pretty much what all I wanted to show you guys on the video. But like I said, it was so much other stuff. It was just too large. So I bit off more than I can chew, or more than the system can handle, I suppose. So I don't know. Maybe just stay tuned to the social, and I'll post it on there after this show. Um, hopefully you guys like it. It's a couple minutes long, but it's pretty good for the most part. Um, but yeah, so I just wanted to talk about just a couple things that kind of popped up on the throughout the news. Like I said, I mean, we can talk about the Trump COVID situation, or we could not. um, uh, but I did want to, thanks to Angel for sending me the story about Ice Cube releasing. I guess he did it a little while ago, but I didn't. It never popped up on my feed or anything when he released that video a couple months back, saying that, oh, saying that black people need to, um, saying that black people need to force these politicians to, uh, to do what they want. Saying like force them to earn, uh, the black vote, or whatever. But at that time, he never came out with any, you know, he didn't say what that meant or how you achieve it or any of that, stuff that's, real crucial information. So hopefully he, so actually he was able to drop his plan. And I guess it was a 22 page uh, uh, plan, I guess, or whatever, plan of action. But I was only able to find like maybe 4 pages. For whatever reason, I can't find the entire thing to really get into it. But the stuff he had on there was some good stuff. It's some stuff that we have talked about. It's some stuff that um, we already said on this show that we wanted to see, like not just us or me on the show, but like you guys too. Like so, we talked about this stuff before. It's called a contract with Black America. Um, it's designed for politicians to, uh, I guess, meet the demands, meet the financial and economic issues that play like the black community or whatever. So um, it's super interesting to read. Ice Cube is a real smart guy, and he said we always took like what do you say, like pride over the money, but now we need to put the money back into it to make it balanced. So he laid out some stuff. Let me see. And just somebody came out in my county too. I checked twice that day, but didn't want to wait in line, wrapping around the block. Um, she said he was very generic at first. I'm glad he's doing a lot to follow up because people need specifics. Exactly. Ebony J said, right, how? Angela said, I really liked his idea of school funding being fair among the state and not by city or town. Every student deserves dignity and dollars. For sure. I mean, that's something black people been fighting for since separate but equal schools. You know what I'm saying? Like, so that, so that's definitely nothing new, but its idea of uh, like a complete school revamp, where the money would go to like the schools that need it most, where the schools that have money or have the super high enrollment in an area where like the taxes are higher, like they'll be able to survive like, with less money for a year or 2 years, while another school is flooded with money so that they can catch up. I think that's a great idea. I feel like he had mentioned having like mandatory Black history, like a Black American history in schools and elementary school. I want to say is where he started. Um, I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure it's elementary schools. I had to double check and make sure it's elementary school, but he did say for sure teaching of like Black history, American history, um, like early in grade school. He even said like having a curriculum that's based off of like Black scholars, Black teachers, Black, um, you know, leaders, I suppose, if you want to call them that. Um, that way, you know that the stuff that's being taught is actual stuff that have an interest to the Black population, and like a firsthand point of view of what they went through. That way, it actually, it's not a white guy, not an old white guy in Texas or an old white guy in Louisiana writing the African American manuscript for elementary school kids. To actually be like something that some people that would reflect our community. So he had a bunch of good ideas like that. Um, I mean, like I said, some of the stuff was stuff that's been talked about forever, but some of the stuff he had mentioned was relatively new or I'm sorry, not even necessarily that it was new, but it's like a new spin on a different spin on like a older topic and like actual steps and ways to get this stuff done. He had a plan for like reparations, and um, like reparations is always something that it always sounds good, like, but I don't know how you implement it. I don't know how you implement, um, how far down the chain, or if you're half Black, or you're a quarter Black, or like what percentage, like so I have no idea how they'll implement that. Ebony J said, "Who is this?" This is Ice Cube. Ice Cube's uh, contract for Black America, as he called it, um, addressing racial inequality. Uh, so that's not just like police reform, even though he does speak about that, but also um, like we talked about school a minute ago. Um, Reparations is something that he talked about. He talked about like Black banking, so not just Black people banking with Black banks, but also being able to get um, a loan with the same terms as a white person would, because they said like Black people get denied, like almost 80% of Black people who apply for loans, get 80% of those get denied, which is crazy. It's a crazy stat. He don't cite his sources, which I'm a big proponent of citing your sources, but if that's anywhere remotely true, that's absurd. You know what I'm saying? So 80% get denied. That's insane. Erica, you say you like me. You're not. It just seems like it. You're not at all. We had technical stuff at the beginning. Um. Yeah. As Angel said, Ice Cube was on Red Tail Talk with a couple other people um, talking about it. So be sure to go watch that if you want to. You know, so you can hear it directly from him. Um, Regina said, "I'm still at work, but I'm here for a bit. Hi, what's going on?" Andrew said he did cite Chase on the example. Yeah, for that one, I think he did. But then he also talked about Black banks and how how like they don't want to get money from the government to loan to Black people because of all the red tape that comes with that. So like he called for like Black people to invest in the banks, and then the banks can invest back into the Black people, and saying like just kind of skip the government altogether. Um, I don't know how well that'll work as far like from a trust standpoint, but it's definitely an idea, and it's something that um, I mean we got to do something we've been doing. So as long as he keep thinking like that, he and us keep thinking about that, thinking like that to do something different to get the like what we want out of these elections, out of these people. Um, then we got to be moving in the right direction as long as we're doing something different. Because currently, it's just not working. I don't care how you look at it; it's not working for any of us, and that's not even specifically just Black Americans. Like it's working for the majority of people. He also called for like reform to the 13th Amendment, uh, like an adjustment to it that say slavery is not allowed. Essentially, it says slavery is not allowed unless you're in jail. um, he want that like nullified because like you can't say slavery is abolished if you're still a slave like at any point. And when you make up 14% of the national population, but you make up 33% of the jail population, especially where prisons are a business, where it actually encourages jails and courts and stuff to keep people in jail longer, which means you create slavery for longer or a slave mentality for longer. He wants changes to that. That's something that people have been asking for forever, and I couldn't agree more. Erica said, "I'm gonna check out Red Table Talk." Yep, for sure. It was long, like 37 minutes, but that's pretty good. And he go through they go through like some of the stuff. Like I said before, I could only find for whatever reason 4 pages of the 22 page report that he wrote up. Um, the last thing that he kind of brought up that was interesting to me was the he brought up monuments and like institutions. So he called for like removal of um, like uh, remotely racist figures or racist people or people that had a hand in slavery or civil rights or like any of that stuff to be removed. Um, he also like requested like a monument be built in Washington um, for people who have been like wronged from like by police officers. He didn't even say specifically Black people, but you know historically they're wrong at a higher clip than white people. Overtly racist is the word he used. Um, but it even said like instead of destroying them, like you talk about just moving to a museum like where history is supposed to be. You know what I'm saying? Like don't have them out at national parks and stuff like that where you're supposed to be equal. Have them at a place where you have to purposely go to a Confederate museum or a Southern history museum, which makes a lot of sense to me. Um, so yeah, he just had all these things like I said, any people that's like overtly racist had anything to do with slavery or the Confederate flag, all Confederate flag removal on like government buildings. Uh, I mean that's a no brainer. Streets, schools, names of like Confederate soldiers and leaders and stuff should be renamed um, with Black heroes, is what he said. I don't know if they'll agree to go that far, but um, at least renamed, not for celebrating, traitors to the country. I think it would be a good idea. So yeah, I don't know if we talk about the Confederate flags on the Red Table Talk, but definitely go check that out as a source. Like I said, he's on there. And they kind of go through some of the stuff. And like I said, it's a little bit of a panel, and they all kind of talk about different things that he has in his plan and different stuff that can be added. And he said this wasn't perfect. He said this was like a stepping stone, I guess, of more stuff that can come down the road. Um, but I feel like he put together a pretty good baseline. To my knowledge, from what I found, no one has actually signed to agree with all of this stuff. But both parties, both the Trump and Biden parties, have reached out to him to find out more information. and to find out, I guess all of the information that, um, all the ideas and stuff that he had. Um, and he stated that the Joe Biden party was quickly moving on the racial injustice as far as like police reform and stuff. Um, but he suggested that they move faster, even faster than that with the rest of the stuff because like Donald Trump is actually in office and he can actually implement some of the stuff before he gets out of office or before the election. I mean, it's a couple weeks before the election now, and he got COVID, so maybe not. But but yeah, um, it's a pretty good start, man. It's a pretty good start, and like I said, I'm sure it's so much other stuff. I was only able to find 4 out of 22 pages, um, but I think it's a pretty good start. Um, is there anything that you guys would like to see on like a contract like that? Um, like a contract as far as um, black people being equal, like black equality, um, civil rights, equality, like anything like that type of stuff. Erica said, "Isn't it a debate tonight?" Yes, tonight 9 p.m. Kamala Harris and Mike Pence, Vice President debate is tonight at 9 p.m. Uh, complete with being 12 to 18 feet apart from each other and plexiglass up around the podiums, separating them. So, yeah, there is a debate tonight, Vice President debate tonight, 9 p.m., as Angel put. But yeah, so is there anything before we move on? Is there anything that you guys would like to see on like a social contract like that? Um, do any of you guys feel like you are currently or you will be um, like a single issue voter? Coming up as far as like just being somebody that votes for the person who's doing the most for Black rights, or the most for like the environment, or the most for whatever it is, whatever your single issue is. But more specifically, if you are going to be a single issue voter for like Black equality, I'm interested in that too. Andrew said he touched on healthcare. I think he did on the interview. Like I said, I couldn't find none of the paperwork on that stuff on healthcare, but I think like I said, Ice Cube was a pretty smart guy. I don't take the stuff he says for granted. He seems like a guy that does his research before he don't just put stuff out there. That's why his initial video was so jarring because all he said was like make them earn your vote, but that was it. There was nothing else behind it. So um, I am glad that he came out with like an actual plan of action. Andrew said, I think it's an important issue. So many people have no access, and she's talking about healthcare. Um, yeah, I mean, even like as much grief as Obamacare get, because yeah, it's not perfect, and people still are left out, or people still got to pay X amount of dollars or whatever. But like, it's a start. Like, it's definitely a place to start and build off of, not to be tearing it down and going the opposite way. I seen the thing. It was like, Trump is lucky. Like, Trump has Obamacare. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's a public worker that don't pay for his own health insurance. The public pays for it, so he has Obamacare. And he was able to get some pretty good, treatment. You know what I'm saying? Apparently, so uh, for everybody, including myself, that thought or hoped Trump would come out with a brand new lease on life of being humble, we all was wrong. Andrew said it's a human right issue and everyone needs access. I agree. So not just access to certain places, access to like the best care possible, access to um, like in your area, in your neighborhood, where you don't have to, go 30 minutes or whatever for a decent hospital. You know what I'm saying? Where you just, you might have a trauma center or something, but not like an actual decent hospital. That shouldn't be the case at all. Um, I don't know. It shouldn't be the case. Um, so, like I said, nobody has signed on for it officially, but I think that um, at least both campaigns reaching out to him to find out more information is a good sign. Um, just like anything, man, we're gonna have to wait and see. Like I really don't know how. Like I don't know, and like, what do you do in the meantime? Like, do you not vote in the meantime until somebody sign this deal or sign something similar? Like, do you not vote at all? Um, like, do you not give anybody your vote and you just deal with whatever those consequences are until they are able to meet your, whatever your single issue is? Man, that's always my thing is I don't know if like I don't know if you just stop voting altogether, like stop trying to make a difference or stop trying to change anything. Uh, like if neither candidate was talking about uh, black rights, like black equality. So do you not vote at all then? Like, is that what you want? So then the next time, 4 years from now, the Democrats or whatever, they'll know like, oh, in order to get the black votes that we need to win, we got to do this stuff. Like we got to, start working towards this stuff. Like, do you make them so desperate? Like, do you make it, so bad to the point where, like, they get less than 5% of the black vote on both sides because they didn't want to like endorse or empower black people, like the black community. So then when 2024 come around, they'll be desperate and they'll actually get the stuff done. Like I don't know. Um, I don't know. Like, how sometimes you have to like starve people out, and then when it comes to you with a hat in their hand, you know, then they'll be more willing to do stuff your way. Like not just politics, just in general. So, um, like, is that what their suggestion? Like, if nobody co-sign whatever it is your issue, then you just don't vote for anybody. Maybe I don't know. I don't know what they're saying. Andrew said, "No, no, vote ASAP." You would think so. You know what I'm saying? You would think so, but if nobody's picking up on your issue, whatever it is, if it's abortion, and neither one of the candidates said how they felt about it, like, do you vote for either one of them? Like, what do you do? Erica said, Chris Rock said we don't need a president. We should get rid of that. Um, yeah, I agree. I agree. Like ultimately, I agree. Like, why do we need a figurehead for anything to meet with like world leaders? Like, why do we need that? I'm not saying that Britain is perfect, but um, like the fact that they have like a count, like I don't know. I don't know why we need like one figurehead when Congress makes all the laws anyway. You know what I'm saying? Like they do all of the bidding anyway. Uh, in order to go to war, Congress has to like allow us to go to war. Like you know what I'm saying? Like so, I don't know why we have a figurehead type person anyway. I don't understand it. Emily J said, "What would happen if nobody voted at all?" Um, well, somebody will vote. Like the candidates' family will vote. So I guess even if it's a 5-7 victory, I guess technically it's still a win. Um, but So that's if nobody voted at all, but like you get like no a subsection of people, so no black people or no uh, gay people or whatever the case is. I don't know. That might start grabbing some people's attention though. Um, Erica was agreeing with Ebony J. Andrew said, "We used to not have the right to vote, so not voting is an option." Yeah, I guess so. I mean, it is an option for so many people. What's it like? 66% of the country vote, like something like that. Like 33% don't vote in the country anyway. Like of eligible people don't vote anyway. So I mean, it is an option, but I don't know. The whole system is. I'm like every week I'll just become more and more jaded to it. It's kind of ridiculous. Andrew said they were fine with us not voting before. Yeah, they were. They were very fine with it. So I get it, not giving them that grace or whatever. But like, what do you? So how do you make people miss your vote though? Like, how do you take the power back for your vote? You know what I'm saying? Like, how do you do it? Because if every, let's say, Christian didn't vote, or every Jewish person, or every black person, every Spanish person, Hispanic person, don't vote, and they look at the numbers, and you're like, man, only, like I said, 5% of the population of Hispanic people voted. So next time we know we have to do more to garner the Hispanic vote. So we'll do more. We'll help out more. We'll do whatever more we have to do to get that vote, and then that vote then carries weight. It then carries power. To get the stuff like you want our vote. Here's our list of demands, and you make it happen, or you make it happen, you get our vote, or you don't make it happen and you don't get our vote. Like, so if you're saying that voting should be done at all costs, then how do you take the power back? How do you give the power back to your votes as a community? Angel, what's your opinion? Erica said this COVID is canceling out a lot of votes already. I agree. Uh, roughly around 200,000 votes is going to be canceled out from people that died this year from the coronavirus. So could that be a huge swing in older people or like whatever? For sure. But I think I don't know. That's a lot of votes. 200,000 votes is a lot of. And I know they all wasn't voting age or whatever, but it's still a good amount of people that could definitely swing an election. Erica, so you're right. Andrew said, "I'm not sure." Yeah, that's kind of where we all are. We're not sure what we're supposed to do. Like how do we demand action? How do we demand, that's the stuff that we want to get, the stuff that we want gets done. I mean, if you equate it with any other thing that you do in life, like if you go to a restaurant and the service is bad, so you stop going to that restaurant, you tell all your people, like, we're not going back to this restaurant until they get their service together. The owner's going to look like, oh, we're losing money or whatever. Oh, it must be because our service, they look online at the reviews or whatever, our service is bad. Um, uh, so you see, that's when you see those signs like under new management and this and that, trying to get people to draw back in because they know that until we address the issue, we're not going to get what we want. Like, so that's you having power with your money, with your dollars, saying I'm not spending my money at this place because it's not right. And once they get right, I'll come back or whatever the case is. So how do you do that with votes? Do you withhold the same way you will with a restaurant? How do you do it? I just don't know. Um, just real quick, I don't think I'm going to be able to play the video, so sorry for people that waited for the intro slash outro. I think it's just too big. I mean, I can try one more time. Y'all want me to at the very end, but I think it's just I don't know. I had to try something different. Uh, quick notes. Um, so this morning, I'm sorry, the morning of the 6th, yesterday, Donald Trump said he would not sign any stimulus bill until after the election. Then at 10 o'clock last night, he came out and said that if the Democrats in the House send him a bill that just has money for everybody, the $1,200 for every American. If it just has that on there, he will sign it immediately. Is what he said. After he already said he wouldn't sign any stimulus bills. So either way, he's saying vote for me and I'll give you money. I'm giving you money, so please vote for me. Is what he's trying to do now. And the first hand he was saying, um, I'm not signing nothing until after the election. So if you vote for me and I win, I'll sign a bill where you get your $1,200. If you don't, or if I lose, then I'm not signing it at all. The same way he did with the Social Security tax break that he was giving people, saying that if I win the election, you won't have to pay that money back. If I don't win the election, then you will have to pay the money back. So it's all bribery. It got to be some kind of a conspiracy, like law, like a conspiracy law for the stuff he's doing. But he's the sitting president, so you can't convict him, so it doesn't really matter. Um, so I'll keep an eye on it. If anything breaks about them sending him a stimulus package that just has the $1,200 for every American, then I'll let you guys know. Um, the debate tonight, vice president debate tonight, 9 p.m. I'm anticipating it to be a much more civil discussion, not with a bunch of people, two people yelling at each other, going back and forth, talking over each other. It should be more ordered, hopefully. Um, and just probably if there are other debates and stuff, this is probably going to be the only one that's going to actually be civil. So tune in. Hopefully, there's some issues, some questions that you guys have that get answered. By the vice presidential candidate, and then we can go from there. We can discuss next week, and yeah. So I think that's all I got. You guys got anything? Did I miss anything? If I did, let me know. I am going to see if I can play this video. So I don't see nobody saying nothing. So I'm going to assume. I'm assuming that that's it. That you guys are good. If you need anything from us, definitely let us know. It is hoodie season for sure. Like Angel said earlier today. Um, Looking forward to talking with you guys more as always. Um, like I said, any uh, topics or issues or anything you want to talk about, whether here or politics, so on the Sunday show, definitely let us know. We're open to all of that stuff. Um, I got to work on the system, find out what's going on because it's killing me right now. And yeah, like I said, salute to the city. I'm gonna try to play this. If it don't play, then I'll just put it on social and I'll tag some of you guys because for whatever reason I can't get it to work properly. So let's see what it do. And I'll talk to y'all in a bit.
Everything ain't real. Knew that when we started, this is exactly how I feel. Dearly departed, they pointing fingers to kill. And I'm the target, everything ain't real. We skeletons in the closet, everything ain't real. Knew that when we started, this is exactly how I feel. Dearly departed, they pointing fingers to kill. And I'm the target, everything ain't real. We skeletons in the closet. Let me take you out that bubble that you live in. Come down from the burbs to the east when nothing's given. Where people ride the health line but don't have insurance. Where killers run my Italy, but trust me, this ain't Florence. Where taxes are divided because we divided. When you hear a lot of sirens, but they weren't invited. Gotta keep the heat like Wade, cause I ain't trying to retire. When you fill out applications, but nobody trying to hire. When stress get you so low, you try to get higher. What you gonna do when the rent do? You feeling like Maya. Black charges hit blacks with charges they ain't even commit. Lord have mercy, this world ain't shit. Young boys get shot at gazebos and you wonder why Kaepernick kneeled like Tebow. Oh, here he go. Just imagine if that happened to one of your people over and over again like a Fast and Furious. Everything ain't real. Knew that when we started, this is exactly how I feel. Dearly departed, they pointing fingers to kill. And I'm the target, everything ain't real. We skeletons in the closet, everything ain't real. Knew that when we started, this is exactly how I feel. Dearly departed, they pointing fingers to kill. And I'm the target, everything ain't real. We skeletons in the closet.
Look, I will take a couple words from the good book. Outlaws trying to get me, hitman trying to hook. They plotting with hella schemes for a way to have me shook. It's like I'm running off a screen with a D on my foot, but I knew that from the tip. Slick with the mouth like I talk with a lisp. First on my list with a pocket full of lint. Got $1 and a cent, none of which can pay the rent. Words create worlds, so I talk big shit, big whips, big palace in my view. Everything lavish, canary diamond glasses with different hues. But just the blues, cause my ass ain't got half the shit they abuse. 10 of the class, and the nigga still treated like a mule. What a fool, now we robbing and killing, mobbing and stealing from our own kings and queens like addicts around Christmas.